Rekha, you can start, Rekha.
Presentation.
A presentation
Okay.
start ಮಾಡಿ.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. To the ones who have joined later, so I'm Dr. Rekha. I'm a practicing dermatologist. So, today I shall be covering the basic dermatology part. I shall be covering the basic dermatology part in another class as well. So, let's begin the class. Coming to the introduction, skin, as we all know, is the largest organ in the body and it weighs over 5 kgs and it constitutes to 15% of body weight. So remember, I have actually kept in focus about your NEET and other examinations, and each and every point here is your potential MCQ. So please focus, and there's nothing which is not important in the slide. So skin is the largest organ, and its surface area is approximately 2 square centimeters. Histologically, it's a stratified squamous epithelium. So skin along with its appendages. So appendages that includes the hair follicle and glands mainly. So glands can be sweat glands, they can be sebaceous glands. So all together we call it as pilosebaceous unit. And during the developmental process, the epidermal cells, a part of skin cells, those are epidermal cells, they follow a pattern or line, and these are called lines of Blaschko. So broadly, we can divide skin into 3 layers, that is epidermis, dermis, and subcutis. These are the main 3 layers starting from top to bottom. So epidermis is the superficial most layer of the skin, and next comes the dermis, next is subcutis. Coming to the embryological origin of these structures, epidermis is of ectodermal origin, whereas both dermis and subcutis is of mesodermal origin. So these two have this origin, and this is, you can remember it as E for E. So epidermis is from ectoderm, rest two are from mesoderm. So now we shall study each and every layer in detail. Coming to epidermis first. So two important things we have to know about the epidermis, that is layers and cells of epidermis. So coming to the layers of epidermis, the sequence is very important. So we are actually now classified it or labeled it from top to bottom. So the topmost layer is the stratum corneum. Next, second layer is stratum lucidum. Third, stratum granulosum. Fourth is stratum spinosum. And fifth is the stratum basale. So you can remember it as basal, base. So it is the lowermost layer and the uppermost layer is corneum. Among these layers, the number 2 layer, that is stratum lucidum, is not present on all the part of the skin. You can see it only on palms and soles. So this is a exclusion. So you see it only on palms and soles and not on anywhere else on the skin. Now we have known about the layers. Coming to the cells of the epidermis, there are 4 important cells of the epidermis. The most important is keratinocytes. The rest ones are melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells. So keratinocytes are most important because these are the resident cells, or they are fixed to the epidermis. They don't go anywhere. They are fixed there. Whereas melanocytes, Langerhans cells, Merkel cells, they are migratory cells. They reach from one area to other to serve their function. So this is a question. These are migratory cells, melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells, whereas keratinocytes is an exclusion. They are resident cells of the epidermis. So this is a picture showing you both the layers and cells. So we shall start with the layer from top to bottom. This is the stratum corneum layer, which is also called as horny layer. Next is clear cell layer, which is also known as stratum lucidum. That is the second layer. Next is granular layer. prickle cell layer or stratum spinosum, and the lowermost layer, that is stratum basal. The left side of the picture shows you the important cells of the epidermis: keratinocytes, melanocytes. These are the melanocytes. They are a little darker than the other basal cell layer. You can appreciate that. There are Merkel cells and there are Langerhans cells. This is a histological picture showing it's showing the layers of the skin. This is the uppermost layer. This is stratum lucidum. You can just appreciate the color of the lucidum. It is very much different from the other layers of the skin. So it is somehow translucent. So this is very, very important that it is translucent. And now I have marked 2 arrows. You can see all these pink structures, the dark pink structures, it is the part of epidermis. The lowermost layer, you can see they have darkly stained nucleus. This is stratum basal layer. So the part of the epidermis, this is epidermis, this is dermis. The light pink part is dermis. So you can see this part of epidermis is trying to push or project into the epidermis, into the dermis, sorry. So epidermis is being projected into the dermis. This part is called as rete ridges. And here you see the light pink part, which is dermis, that is trying to project into the epidermis. This is called dermal papilla. So this you must remember. It is of histological significance. So next we shall study the layers of epidermis in detail. Coming to the lowermost layer, which is stratum basal, you can remember it as basal as base, the lowermost layer. So it is a very single layer. When you see histologically, I showed you in the previous picture, there will be single layer cuboidal cells with prominent nucleus and cytoplasm. So this is how your basal layer looks. If you see these layers, they're all very mitotically active. They're all in the generative phase. Hence, it is also known as stratum germinativum. So they all give rise to subsequent layers of the skin. They are in the germinating phase. So as I've already told you, every layer here has majorly has keratinocytes. So until and unless I don't mention, so it is very much implied that I am talking about keratinocytes. So keratinocytes, as the name itself suggests, they have keratin. So basal layer has majorly keratin 5 and keratin 14. These are the keratins that is expressed in the basal layer. And keratinocytes, so when you see the basal layer, for one cell to be attached to the other, you need some substance, right? You need something to connect these two cells. So this is formed by desmosomes. So keratinocytes are attached to each other through desmosomes. So this is something called desmosomes. So they are intercellular substance, desmosomes, and the basal layer is attached to the underlying layer, that is basement membrane zone, which we will study later. So the basal layer is attached to this layer through hemidesmosome. So we have learned 2 different new words, that is new terminologies, desmosomes and hemidesmosomes. And these keratinocytes will have something called keratin filaments. So keratin filaments, they stabilize both desmosomes and hemidesmosomes. Now, because I have told you they are mitotically active cells, the stratum basal cells, so they will have stem cells in the basal layer. So these stem cells, they give rise to all other upper layers of the epidermis. So now we know that stem cells are in the basal layer of the epidermis. Let's know where are the other sites where stem cells reside. So we have already known the basal layer of the interfollicular epidermis. So the other two sites where stem cells resides are bulge area and the base of the sebaceous gland. So these are important MCQs. You must remember that stem cells reside in the skin. Next is there's something called epidermal turnover time. Because I've already told you that stratum basal layer give rise to the other upper layers of cells of the upper layers. So keratinocytes, they divide to reach the upper layer. So these are the keratinocytes of the basal layer. They constantly multiply, and they try to reach the upper layer of the skin, that is stratum corneum. Right? This is the uppermost layer. So the basal layer cells have to reach the upper layer. For this, the time taken is 28 days, the base of the stratum corneum. And for the cells to traverse the stratum corneum and to shed off, they'll desquamate. For that, they'll take another 28 days. So the total time taken for the basal cells to reach the stratum corneum and to shed off is approximately 40 to 56 days. Whereas in a condition called psoriasis, this time is reduced to only 4 days. From 40 days, it is reduced to 4 days. So coming to the applied aspects of this layer of stratum basal, I have told you the important keratins present in this layer are keratin 5 and 14. If there is any mutation to these keratins, you will see a condition which is a genetic condition called as epidermolysis bullosa. And in a condition called psoriasis vulgaris, the rete ridges, that is the part of epidermis that is projecting into the dermis, those are regularly elongated. And in case of lichen planus, there is sawtooth. Sawtooth means it will be like this. Sawtooth rete ridges. So rete ridges become pointed. The tips are pointed. So for you to clearly understand, I have put the pictures, histological pictures side by side. This is the picture of psoriasis. So what we see the dark blue color layer is epidermis and this pinkish substance is dermis. So you can see all the layers are so regularly elongated. They are like proper finger-like projections into the dermis. Whereas in lichen planus, you can see the pointed rete ridges. See the pointed. They are not regular. They are pointed. So this is the major difference between psoriasis and lichen planus. So next we shall move to the second layer, that is stratum spinosum. What does the name suggest? Spine. Split the name. There is something called spinosum. So this is a Greek word that means acanthos, and acanthos means spine. The layer here, the cells of this layer have multiple spines. Hence, it is also called prickle cell layer. It pricks because it has spines. So prickle cell layer. Basal layer has only one cell layer thick, whereas stratum spinosum is 8 to 10 layers thick. Keratins of this keratinocytes of this layer expresses keratin 1 and 10. So why do we have spines here? Because I already told you that for two keratinocytes to be connected, we need something called desmosome, which is the intercellular substance. In this layer, there are multiple desmosomes. So there are multiple desmosomes. So the cells are connected at multiple places. Hence, there is a pull for the cells, and hence there are many spines. So desmosomes are maximum in this layer. Hence, the layer has multiple spines. So the next point is, we collectively call the stratum basal and stratum spinosum, that is the lowermost layer 1 and 2. We collectively call them as Malpighian layer. So this is of a potential MCQ. We call these two layers together as Malpighian layers, please remember. So now that we have come across the desmosomes so many times, let's know what desmosomes are actually. So these purple blocks which are brick-like, they are keratinocytes. Clear? They are keratinocytes. So desmosomes are something which are connecting two keratinocytes together. So we see there are different desmosomes. The one marked in light pink is desmocolin. The one marked in pink color, dark pink, is desmoglein. So these are intercellular structures. So desmosomes, they have two domains. One is intercellular, one is intracellular. So this is intercellular. Between the cells, we have two things, desmoglein and desmocolin. And intracellular, we have three things. These are intracellular structures, which is plakoglobin, plakophilin, and desmoplakin. This is intracellular. So you see the green structure is desmoplakin, and these are keratin filaments. The U-looped like structures are keratin filaments. So desmoplakin is further connected to keratin filaments. I hope it is very clear to you guys. So I shall brief it again. So desmosomes are intercellular cement or intercellular connecting substances. They have two domains. One is intercellular and other is intracellular. Intercellular, they have desmoglein and desmocolin. And intracellular, there are plakophilin, plakoglobin, and desmoplakin. Coming to the applied aspect of this layer, that is stratum spinosum. So we know that stratum spinosum is 8 to 10 cell layer thick. If there is more than 8 to 10 cell layer thick, then there will be thickening of the stratum spinosum, and this condition is called acanthosis, because we have already known that the Greek word means spine, acanthos, and because there is thickening, acanthosis. What is spongiosis? So now there were keratinocytes. If there is a damage to desmosome, if there is any damage to desmosome, they become loose and there will be intercellular fluid accumulation. By this is called spongiosis, and it is seen in a condition called acute eczema. What is acantholysis? Acantholysis is, see the term acantholysis. There is breakage of the cells, or there is loss of cohesion between the cells. So the desmosomes were pulling the cells and maintaining the structure of the keratinocytes. When there is any disturbance in the desmosome, the cells lose its original structure and they become round cells. This is how. And these round cells, we call it as acanthocytes. And this, to appreciate this acantholysis, we do a test called Zank smear. And in different conditions, we label these acanthocytes as different things. In pemphigus, a condition called pemphigus vulgaris, we see acanthocytes. If there is a viral infection, we see multinucleated giant cells. We see something like this. We see multinucleated giant cells within the, when we see the Zank smear. And we also, this acantholysis, we can also see in a condition called Darier's disease and Hailey-Hailey disease, which I shall be discussing later. Now, so Darier's disease and Hailey-Hailey disease, what are these? These are there is a calcium pump mutation, So these two are a condition with calcium pump mutation. So the mutation we see in Darier's disease is ATP2A2 and in Hailey disease is ATP2C1. How do you remember this? ATP to A2. D is the fourth letter of the alphabet. A, B, C, D. And the mutation is ATP to A2. 2 2s are 4. So that is how I remember. Maybe that will help you guys as well. So here we see in this condition acantholysis, that is, there is a loss of cohesion between the layers of stratum spinosum, and dyskeratosis. This I shall explain you later. And because there is acantholysis, we see rounded dyskeratotic cells. Yes, when there is acantholysis, the structure is lost, the cells become round, and there is rounded dyskeratotic cells. We call this layer as corpse and rons. Corpse, rons. How do you remember? Rons are round. Okay. That is how you can remember. And these corpron cells, you see it in the Malpighian layer. What is Malpighian layer? Again, I'm telling you, this is stratum basale plus spinosum layer. Okay. So you see corprons in Malpighian layer, and there is something called grains, which you see in Darius disease. That is because of the shrunken cytoplasm. The cytoplasm gets shrunken and they form a grain-like structure. And this you see in stratum corneum layer. This was about Darius disease. Coming to Hailey-Hailey disease, this is also a calcium pump mutation. Calcium pump mutation of the gene ATP2C1. Here you see a classical picture called as dilapidated brick wall appearance. What does that mean? Like the bricks are falling because there is acantholysis. There is no structure to hold the two keratinocytes, so there is acantholysis. So you can see the picture here where you see all multiple round cells which are not attached to each other, that is acantholysis. So it looks like this, by dilapidated brick wall appearance. This is a very classical terminology used for Hailey-Hailey disease. So now that we have learnt about desmosome, we shall see what happens when there is any mutation or any pathology associated to desmosome. So if there is autoantibodies against desmoglein 3, I will help you. This was intercellular part of the desmosome. If there is a mutation to desmoglein 3, we see a condition called pemphigus vulgaris. What happens when there is autoantibodies against desmoglein 1? There will be condition called pemphigus foliaceus. How do you remember? You can make F out of 1 like this. So that is how you remember. Okay. And if there is a toxin against this was autoantibodies. If there is a toxin against desmoglein 1, that is called Staphylococcus scalded skin syndrome. Tetra S, 4S. Staphylococcus scalded skin syndrome. If there is autoantibodies against desmocollin, we will have a condition called IgA pemphigus. If there is autoantibodies against desmoplakin, then we see a condition called paraneoplastic pemphigus. Next layer is stratum granulosum. So let's split the terminology or name granulosum. What does that mean? There is something called, there are some granules in this layer that is called keratohyalin granules. So what does this granule contain? They contain something called prefilaggrin. So prefilaggrin will further convert to filaggrin, and let's split the terminology here. Name filagrin. Fil is filament, agri is aggregation. So it has a role in filament aggregation, which will help in keratin differentiation. That will further help the cell to move from basal layer to upper layer. That is keratin differentiation. So along with the granules, we have something called odd-line bodies or lamellar granules. What's in the name? Lamellar. They are lamellated, like how we do lamination. So there is some lamellated, they are lamellated granules. So what do? They secrete lipids. So lipids or wax or ceramides, so they have a role in barrier function. So filagrins have a role in keratin differentiation, and the Odland bodies have role in barrier function. Next is applied aspects related to the stratum granulosum layer. So what happens? Usually I forgot to tell you here, stratum granulosum is 1 to 3 cell layer thick. It is just 1 to 3 cell layer thick. What happens if the layers of the granular layer are increased? Then you see this condition in lichen planus and chronic lichenification. And where do you see no granular layer? In condition called psoriasis and ichthyosis vulgaris. These are the two conditions where you don't see granular layer. Next, we are coming to the fourth layer, that is stratum lucidum. The cell layer, the layers of cells here will have nucleus. They're also known as clear cell layer or transitional layer. I have already, one minute, I'll show you the picture. Okay, sorry, I'm not able to get back to the slides there. So we call it as clear cell layer or transitional. Why is it clear? Because there is something called Eyledin granules. Eyledin granules, they are translucent, hence the layer is clear. They are translucent, hence the name clear cell layer. As I've already told you, they are only present in palms and soles, which is also called as glabrous skin. Only palms and soles and not on other skin, other parts of skin. Okay. The last layer, stratum corneum, these are anucleate cells, very important. Our stratum basal layer had clear nucleus and cytoplasm, but the topmost layer, they have no cells. They are just like this. They have no cells. They are flat cells. There are no cell organelles. The hydration content is least. And this is the thickest layer of the epidermis. Of all the other layers, stratum corneum is the thickest layer, and it is arranged in a basket view pattern like this. It is arranged in a basket view pattern, and to make the layer very rough and tough, because this is the layer which is exposed to the surrounding. So there is a cornified envelope, which is the product of terminal differentiation, and the major cross-link to form the cornified envelope is by involucrin and loricrin. So we have known this, where if in preterm babies and low birth weight babies, the layer is absent. Okay. Next, we shall know the applied aspects related to this stratum corneum layer. So I have told you the cells are anucleate. So what happens if the nucleus is retained in this layer? Then it is a condition called as parakeratosis. So where do you see this? Psoriasis, actinic keratosis, squamous cell carcinoma, seborrheic keratosis. How do we remember? Actinic keratosis, squamous cell carcinoma, seborrheic keratosis. So here, actinic keratosis and to an extent seborrheic keratosis, they are pre-malignant. When they are pre-malignant, the cells are rapidly dividing. So they don't have time to undergo all the stages of keratinization. So they will rapidly multiply and they retain nucleus. And in psoriasis, I've already told you the epidermal turnover time is only 4 days. Is only 4 days. So it is so fast that the nucleus is retained, and other conditions you will have to remember. So what is dyskeratosis? So there was a process of keratinization going all through the layers of the cells. What happens if there is the keratinization process is abnormal and it is premature? Then we call the condition as dyskeratosis. Again, you can remember it as pre-malignant and malignant conditions. So actinic keratosis and Bowen's disease, they are pre-malignant conditions. Hence, there is dyskeratosis. That is they are pre-malignant, and this squamous cell carcinoma is, we already know it is a malignant condition. And Darier's disease, we have already learned that there will be dyskeratosis and acanthosis in this condition. So we have known the causes, conditions where we see dyskeratosis. Now coming to other important histopathological significance, there are different conditions where we see microabscesses. So microabscesses can be mainly neutrophilic or atypical T cell composition. Neutrophilic, we see a condition called Monro microabscesses, where we see neutrophilic accumulation in the stratum corneum. We see this condition in psoriasis. There's a condition called spongiform pustules of Kogoch. So we see the neutrophilic accumulation in the layer of spinosum in psoriasis. Papillary tip microabscesses in the tip of the dermal papillae in dermatitis herpetiformis. And atypical T cells, if there is atypical T cell accumulation in stratum spinosum, we call it as Pottier's microabscesses, which is seen in a condition called mycosis fungoides. So now we have learned about the keratinocytes. I'll ask you guys if I'm going fine. So next we shall know about the cells of the epidermis, which the first cell is keratinocyte. So keratinocyte origin is ectodermal origin, and they are the major cell type. I showed you the picture in the initial slide. So the majority of the cells occupying epidermis were keratinocytes. They constitute to up to 90 to 95% of total cells of epidermis. So like how we have the skeleton to maintain the framework of a body, keratinocytes also have skeleton. What are they called as? Keratin intermediate filaments. What are the functions of keratinocytes? They have role in immunity. They help in immunity. Next cells are Langerhans cells. So where do we see Langerhans cells? Stratum spinosum. Important. The origin is from bone marrow. So what are they? They are antigen presenting cells. Hence, they are intraepidermal macrophages and they have dendrites. What is the special characteristic of Langerhans cells? The special characteristic is they have Verbeck granules. I have shown you in the picture. You can see these electrolucent structures which are tennis racket shaped. So the markers of these Langerhans cells are S100, CD1A and CD207. So what are the applied aspects related to Langerhans cells? In condition called histiocytosis X, we see granules in the dermis, because this is abnormal because we see Langerhans cells in stratum spinosum. So if we see the Verbeck granules in the dermis, that is something abnormal. We see this condition in histiocytosis X. So there are specific number of Langerhans cells. So the number is decreased in these conditions. These are important. This is your potential MCQ. The LCH number is decreased in psoriasis, sarcoidosis, contact dermatitis, and basal cell carcinoma. Next cell is melanocyte. So where do we see the melanocyte? Basal layer, that is the lowermost layer. So the origin is neural crest. How do we remember? MN. Melanocytes are derived from neural crest cells. So what are they? We all know they are pigment producing cells and they are also dendritic cells. So not just in the skin, we can also find melanocytes in our inner ear, choroid, and iris, giving color to the iris of our eye. So markers are S100, Melane, and HMB45. So S100, we studied it under Langerhans also. See, we have S100 here, we have S100 here. But if you have a MCQ asking about S100, please go for LCH, because this is S100 is more sensitive to more specific for Langerhans cells and not melanocytes, but it is also a marker for melanocytes. Okay. For Langerhans cells, it is more specific. So, what are melanocytes? What do they contain? They contain melanin pigments in a packet of melanosomes. So, these are the packets of melanosomes having melanin pigment within them. So let's know about melanin synthesis. So the initial molecule by which the melanin synthesis starts is tyrosin. Tyrosinase is the major enzyme, role limiting enzyme. So first tyrosin gets converted into L-dopa, dopa to dopaquinone. So there can be spontaneous oxidation of dopaquinone to dopacro. In presence of L-cysteine, there will be cysteine dopa. So dopachrome gets oxidation and polymerized to form eumelanin. Eumelanin are brown or black in color, whereas in presence of cysteine, L-cysteine, there is a formation of cysteine dopa, which undergoes oxidation and polymerization to form pheomelanin, which is yellow and red pigment. These melanin pigments, they determine our skin color, because the number of melanocytes in every individual is almost same. So it is the number of melanosomes and the melanin pigment type which determine our skin color and not the melanocyte number. So there's something called epidermal melanin unit. What is this? So you can see the picture. So the brown dark structure is melanocyte, and these hexagonal structure are keratinocytes. So you see one melanocyte is in contact with 36 other keratinocytes, either via direct contact or by the help of its dendrites. So that means one melanocyte is serving 36 other keratinocytes. So this is called epidermal melanin unit. So by which the melanocyte transfers its melanin pigment to other neighboring keratinocytes. So applied aspects. So what are the applied aspects related to melanocytes? The first condition is called vitiligo, where there is complete absence of melanocytes. And what is albinism? Melanocytes are normal in this condition, but there is impaired melanin synthesis is impaired. What is piebaldism? What is piebaldism? You see a condition where only forelock of the hair, forelock is white. This is piebaldism, where there is impairment of melanocyte migration. See, with the help of these dendrites, the melanocytes migrate to other cells. So this aspect is impaired in piebaldism. What is freckles? You see, majorly you see it in foreigners or white race people, where you see multiple hyperpigmented lesions on the majorly on the sun exposed areas. So here the melanocytes are normal, but there is localized increase of melanin pigmentation. Only the focal, only in this area, the melanin pigmentation is increased. Well, then you see a condition called freckles. Next, Merkel cells. Merkel cells, they are also called as Ashwin cells. So they are present in the stratum basale. There are two hypotheses related to the origin of the Merkel cells. So they can be of ectodermal origin or neural crest origin. So it is not clear from where do they come from? So what do they contain? They contain something called chromogranin, neurosecretory granules containing chromogranin. So what are its functions? They are slowly adapting type 1 mechanoreceptors and they mediate the touch sensation. Very important. So they are present along with the sensory nerve endings. So that is called touch spots or ergodics. So the marker is cytokeratin 20. So applied aspect, if there is a Merkel cell, something called Merkel cell polyoma virus that can cause Merkel cell carcinoma. Now that we know that Merkel cell mediates the sensation of touch, let's know other sensory receptors of the skin. Meissner's corpuscle, they are present in the dermal papilla and they mediate touch and pressure. Pacinian corpuscles, they present in the deep dermis and they mediate vibration and deep pressure. Ruffini corpuscles, they are present along the stretch lines and they mediate the sensation of touch. This is an important table where you can get multiple MCQs. Now that we have known the layers and cells of epidermis, let's know the basement membrane zone. What is it? So we have the basal layer here and the epidermis and we have dermis underneath. So it is the interface between epidermis and dermis. So for you to see it histologically, you can stain it using PAS stain. So we have three layers of the basement membrane zone, that is lamina lucida, lamina densa, and sublamina densa. So lamina densa, the name itself suggests it is electron dense. Compared to densa, the lamina lucida layer is less electron dense, and there is something called sublamina densa. I'll show it to you in the picture. So this is lamina lucida, lamina densa, and sublamina densa. What are the components? We have three important components: hemidesmosome, anchoring filaments, anchoring fibrils. How do you remember what comes first? Hemidesmosomes, we know that it connects the basal layer to basement membrane zone. So that is the uppermost. So filament A and this is B. So A comes before B. So filaments layer comes before fibril layer. Okay? Next. So this is the picture showing you basement membrane zone. So we see the hemidesmosome here. So hemidesmosome has two parts, that is one within the keratinocyte and other extending outside. So hemidesmosome has two parts, intracellular and extracellular. So what is intracellular part doing? It is connected to these U-looped structures, which is keratin intermediate filaments. So the intracellular part is connected to keratin intermediate filaments, whereas the extracellular part, this part is connected to these hair-like, thread-like structures, that is anchoring filaments. So these hemidesmosomes have two components, BP antigen 1 and BP antigen 2. BP antigen 2 is also called as collagen 17. Anchoring filaments. So these hair-like structures present in lamina lucida, the main component is laminin 332. The next layer, that is which is in the sublamina densa, connecting lamina densa to the underlying dermis is anchoring fibril, and their main component is collagen 7. So anchoring fibril has collagen 7. So now applied aspects related to basement membrane zone. So BP antigen 1 and 2, we know that they are the components of hemidesmosome. If there is a auto antibody, if there is an antibody against these two targets, you see a condition called bullous pemphigoid. If there is a mutation into BP antigen 1 or 2 genes, for one gene, we see a condition called recessive epidermolysis bullosa. For the BP antigen 2, we see a genetic condition called junctional epidermolysis bullosa. Laminin 332, we know that it is a component of anchoring filament. If there is antibody against this, we see mucous membrane pemphigoid. if there is a genetic condition, we see junctional epidermolysis bullosa. Collagen 7, we know that it is a composition of fibrils, anchoring fibrils. If there is a antibody against this, we see a condition called epidermolysis bullosa acquisita. And if there is a genetic mutation, then we see a condition called dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa. The next layer is dermis, the second layer. So it has two parts, papillary dermis and reticular dermis. So the papillary dermis constitutes to only 1/10 of the dermis, and the reticular dermis constitutes to 9/10 part of the dermis, that is the maximum part. So what is dermis made of? They have many cells like fibroblasts, mast cells, macrophages, lymphocytes, and appendages called as known as hair follicles, blood vessels, nerves, and glands. And connective tissues, this is important. We have 70% of collagen and the rest other part of elastic fibers. So these are the main compositions. So one important thing I would like to highlight here is blood vessels. We see blood vessels in dermis because epidermis is avascular. We never read about vessels in the epidermis. So epidermis is avascular, whereas dermis contain blood vessels. So this is a picture showing you the layer of the dermis. Papillary dermis, see, it is only 1/10. Reticular dermis is 9/10 part. We have collagen, which constitutes to 70% of connective tissue. We have elastic fiber. Rest we have cells, mast cells, fibroblasts, macrophages, dermal dendrocytes. So this is the picture showing dermis. Also we see appendages, hair follicles, blood vessels, and nerves here. So now that we have studied about the connective tissue, let's know the important collagen present in our skin. So the most common type of collagen in the skin or dermis is type 1, whereas the second most common type of collagen in skin is type 3. So the ratio of type 1 is to type 3 is 3:1 or 3:4:1. Other different books quote different numbers, but you should remember that type 1 is more than type 3. This is important. The last layer is subcutaneous or hypodermis, which contains subcutaneous fat. So the 80% of our fat, they are present in subcutaneous. So how are they present? There are multiple locules of fat. They are separated by a septa. So this is how our fat cells are distributed in the subcutaneous. What happens when there is an inflammation to fat cells? We call it this condition is called as panniculitis, if there is an inflammation of fat cells. Okay, now yeah, I will stop. Hello? Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yes, madam. We are able to hear you. But
okay, so this was the class for today. Now I shall be dealing with the MCQs related to the topic. So was I clear? Do anybody have doubts up till here? Because now we shall be going through the most common MCQs related to this topic. Hello? Sir.
just only slides are not seen to us.
Okay, now I will be showing the slide because I cannot listen to students when I'm presenting the slide.
As you please.
Now okay, sir. I will again continue with the slides. I shall be covering the MCQs related to the topic. Okay.
As you please.
So MCQs. So the first MCQ is desmosomes are helpful in connecting. So what were desmosomes? They were intercellular. Okay, I will. Intercellular substance. So what would be the answer? So desmosomes are helpful in connecting keratinocytes. This will be the answer. Spongiosis. So spongiosis, I have told you, when there is a fluid collection between the two keratinocytes in the layer of stratum spinosum. So if there is a fluid collection, we call it as spongiosis, and this involves the layer stratum spinosum. This is the answer. Parakeratosis. What does that mean? That means the stratum corneum layer, that is the uppermost layer, has nucleus retained, whereas normally there are nucleate cell layers. So we see this condition commonly in actinic keratosis because it is a pre-malignant condition. Next, acantholysis. Acantholysis. Acanthos is spine layer. There is lysis. So where do we see? Acantholysis involves desmosomes. And acantholysis is seen in the spinosum layer. So we see it in a condition called pemphigus vulgaris. Yes, we see because there is antibody against desmoglein 3. In Darier's condition, yes, there is a ATP2A2 mutation and we see acantholysis. Yes. Staphylococcus aureus syndrome, yes, there is toxin against desmoglein 1. So all these conditions we see acantholysis. So the answer is bullous pemphigoid, where there is antibody against BP antigen 1 and 2 and there is no acantholysis. Next, acantholysis is seen in dermis, epidermis, DJ or subcutaneous tissue. Epidermis, definitely. And that too in the stratum spinosum layer, mainly. Acantholysis is due to destruction of epidermis, subepidermis, basement membrane zone, intercellular substance. This is the answer. Intercellular substance, that is desmosome. That is why we see acantholysis. True about stratum lucidum. Sandwich between stratum spinosum. No, this is the answer. It is sandwich. Sorry. True. This is, sorry. It is, yeah. This is the right answer. Sorry, I got confused. So true is, it is between stratum corneum and stratum granulosum. So here you see stratum lucidum. This is the answer, right answer. All are true except, so skin is a stratified squamous epithelium. Yes, true. Melanocytes, Merkel cells are immigrant cells. Yes, also Langerhans cells are immigrant cells. We shall add to the point. Keratin filaments are hallmark of epidermal cells. Yes, because when they are speaking of epidermal cells, they are speaking about keratinocytes. Keratinization causes hydration of cells. Yes, true. Spines of spinous cells are formed from housekeeping organelles. No, spines are because of desmosome and not because of the housekeeping organelles. What are housekeeping organelles? They are Golgi complex, They are your endoplasmic reticulum. But spines is because of desmosome. This is the answer here. Which layer of epidermis is underdeveloped in very low birth weight infants in initial 7 days? Answer is stratum corneum. The normal turnover time of epidermis, it is 28 days. So 7 4s are 28, it is 4 weeks. Melanocytes are present in stratum basale. This is the answer. Desmosomes are associated with, this is the PGI question, so they can have multiple answers. So desmosomes, we definitely know that it is associated with pemphigus because there is a mutation of desmoglein 3 and 1. And also, desmosomes are helpful to connect cardiac cells. They also connect cardiac cells because they are interconnecting intercellular substance. If there is any defect, then there can be cardiac arrhythmia. So the answer is cardiac arrhythmia and also pemphigus. Meissner's corpuscles are found in, they're found in papillary dermis. False about skin is, dermis is derived from mesoderm, epidermis is from ectoderm. That is true. Skin accounts for 15% of total body. We have read this, true. 90% of cells in epidermis comprises of keratinocytes. Very true. And dermis is made up of type 1 and type 3 collagen in a ratio of 3:2. No, it is in the ratio of 1:3. So this is the wrong answer. Arrange the following structures in skin in the order from top to bottom. So they want us to arrange these in superficial to deep layers. So where do we find desmoglins? We find it in spinosum layer.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is it
Yes,
3:1
tell me.
or 1:3?
It is, okay. It is type 1 to type 3 is 1. Oh, sorry. This is 3:1. Apologies. It is 3:1. Type 1 is more and type 3 is less. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. This was 3:1. So let's come back to this question. So desmoglin in the stratum spinosum layer. Hemidesmosome was seen connecting basal layer to basement membrane zone. Okay. Collagen 7. Where was collagen 7? Can someone tell me? It was in the last layer, that is anchoring fibrils. And laminin was in anchoring filament. So what comes first? Filament of fibril. A comes before B. So filament comes before B. So stratum spinosum, that is option 1, from superficial to deep. Then hemidesmosome, option 2, laminin and anchoring fibril. This is the answer. 1, 2, 4, 3. Option D. Next, there's a question having two things. Assertion, desmosomes are damaged in pemphigus. That is true. And reason, pemphigus has autoimmunity against desmoglin. That is also true. So pemphigus is because of autoimmunity against the desmoglin protein, which is in the spinosum layer. So what would be the answer? Both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is correct explanation of assertion. This is the answer because both the statements are correct and reason is the correct explanation. So pick the part of a desmosome. Desmoglin, desmocollin, plakophilin. I will revise this for you. These are keratinocytes. Desmoglin has two parts, intercellular and intracellular. Intercellular part has two things, desmocollin and desmoglin. And this part has plakophilin and plakoglobin. So what is not the part of desmosome? laminin, because it is a part of anchoring filament and not desmosome. So what is the right answer here? A, B, C are correct. This is the right answer. Meissner's corpuscle are present in which layer? Papillary dermis. Langerhans cells are decreased or absent in. This is also a PGI question. So we have two answers to this questions. It is BCC and sarcoidosis and also contact dermatitis. What constitutes Malpighian layer? I have told you the lowermost two layers, that is stratum basal layer and the stratum spinosum layer. So where is the answer? Stratum basal and the stratum spinosum. This is the answer. Skin with its all appendages. What does appendages contain? They contain glands, they contain hair follicles. So with all its appendages, it is called pilosebaceous unit. So the name itself suggests pilo is hair, sebaceous, so glands, mainly sebaceous glands. So it is called pilosebaceous unit. Superficial veins are found in which layer of the skin? I have told you and I've also showed the picture. It is in the dermis because epidermis is avascular, remember. Harsh beam cells, what are these? They're also known as Merkel cells. Yes, we have studied this, Merkel cells, and they mediate touch because they are slowly adapting mechanoreceptors. So they mediate the sensation of touch and also slowly adapting their type 1 mechanoreceptor. Odd-land bodies or also what we have studied is they are also called as lamellar bodies. They are seen in which layer? They have lamellar granules, so they are in the granular layer, stratum granulosum. So in this layer we also see keratohyalin granules. Right? Vitamin D is synthesized by melanocyte synthesis, melanin. Prickle cell has spines, granular layer has profilagrin. So what is left? Keratinocytes. Yes, they have a role in vitamin D synthesis also along with immunity. They play a role in immunity. Lines of Blaschko. I've told you this is a pattern of epidermal cell migration. So they follow a pattern. They follow specific lines. So it is different in the different area of the body. This is because it is a epidermal cell migration. The only epidermal cell we see here is keratinocytes. So this is the answer. Non-nucleated cells are seen in this is a very easy question. It is in stratum corneum or the uppermost layer. Epidermal melanin unit. So we have learned this. The melanocytes is supplying or is in contact with many other keratinocytes. That is 36 keratinocytes are being supplied or in touch with one melanocyte. So stem cells in the skin, we have read this. It is in the basal layer. Yes, true. It is in the bulge of the hair follicle. Very true. And base of the sebaceous glands. True. So what is the wrong answer here? Base of the apocrine gland. Correct order of the epidermis layer from deep to superficial. Okay, deep to superficial. That is basal layer. This is the first layer. Stratum spinosum will be second, granulosum will be third, and the corneum will be the uppermost layer. So the order will be 1, 4, option 4, option 3, and option 2. This is the right answer. Prickle cell layer, prick. There's something to prick. They have spines. So stratum spinosum. Profilagrin, which helps in filament aggregation. We have this substance or granules in stratum granulosum. Granules of Eyledin, which are refractile granules. Where did we see this granules? It is in stratum lucidum. Most abundant form of collagen found in the dermis. Which one? Type 1. Most abundant collagen in the anchoring fibrils. Fibrils was the lowermost layer of the basement membrane zone, and it's not collagen 1, it is type 7 collagen is the major component we see in anchoring fibrils. Type 4 we have it in lamina densa. This I forgot to mention. Type 4 collagen we see in densa, and type 1 is the most abundant collagen. Okay, this is a repeat thing. So these were the MCQs related to the topic. So if anyone has doubt, please ask me.
Hello, Dr. Rekha.
Yes, ma'am.
This was very good, Rekha.
Yes. What, ma'am?